Yay, I don't have to do Shakespearean broadcast voice. Hi everyone, welcome to the Science of Pinkie Pie. I am not functional before noon, period. But I'm here doing this anyway. I wish I was kidding, but Pinkie Pie requires her own panel to attempt to explain this. I really honestly wish I was kidding. I originally only set out to design 6 panels for this year. I ended up designing 9 because I have OCD worse than Twilight. Yes, Pinkie, you can be that excited for this. You get your very own panel because you literally kept me awake at night trying to figure you out. So I am Fiaura, aka Queen Quake at BabsCon. I run my own YouTube channel. That's how I make a living. I literally do 60 hours a week of content creation between live streams and videos. I do video games and a science video once a week, and during the live streams during the video games is when I sit down to discuss the science that I'm working on so that people get kind of sneak previews, and also I can kind of crowdsource a little bit of information. This is Tread Lightly. My subscriber sent this to me on Wednesday out of the blue, and as of this morning I have 13, excuse me, I have 13 as of this morning stories they want me to write about this that I have no relation to or any idea why they sent it to me. I have been in the field of sexuality and communication for 7 years, so I've been doing this for a very long time. I have a master's degree from the University of Rutgers, and that is how most of the science behind these panels originates. Either I go through the archives looking for stuff, please don't die, or I end up having just to call upon the vast library that I have at my house. And by vast library, I mean it's literally taken over most of my house. I have a linen closet and 2 other closets plus a bookshelf full of books. You can blame all of these panels, by the way, on Diamond Doodle. She's an exec from BabsCon and also the person who came up with the idea for BabsCon theme, which I'll be discussing at 11 apparently because I was invited to another panel. Yeah, I agreed to this. But this is Dude's fault. So, attempting to science the dead pool of ponies. Because this happened. And I had to deal with the idea that this was a thing. No, I am not a Pinkie Pie fangirl. I actually despise this pony now with every physical fiber of my being. I am a scientist, and I believe that everything has an answer eventually. And I sit there and I will fret over the answer until I can figure it out. Pinkie Pie is the only one that defies about every form of explanation I could come up with to fit her into any other panel possible. And she's the only one known to break into our own universe.
Like the appearance you just made.
So, initial idea of Pinkie Pie. There's only one. In the entire multiverse, regardless of whatever timeline you want to use, they're all the same one. Pinkie Pie has the ability to alter the physics of herself at any time. She can fold space and time at any time to translocate anywhere she desires. And she has her own tier of magic to describe this and how it interacts with all the other magic in Equestria. That was the magic panel yesterday. I'm sorry if you missed it. It'll be up on my YouTube channel later. Pinkie Pie is only crazy to us because she sees all the different possibilities all at the same time and then decides which one she wants to go with. She only seems nutty to us because we can't do that. So yes, there's only one Pinkie Pie. She is the Highlander of ponies. Good point. So, she can literally see what's happening in a different universe at the same time, so long as she has a connection to the Pinkie Pie in that universe. Think of this like a giant celestial entity of consciousness rather than as a individual being. And I have no volume. Hold on, pause that.
Basically, Pinkie's an eldritch abomination.
Yes! Somebody figured that much out. She is an eldritch abomination. I have no question about that.
She sleeps beyond death.
You see, you're from an alternate world and you're a pony princess there, and the crown actually has a magical element embedded in it that helps power other magical elements, and without it, they don't work anymore, and you need them to help protect your magic.
No!
And if you don't get the crown tonight,
This
you'll be stuck
happened!
in this world, and you won't be able to get back for like a really, really long time.
she's pretty much spot on.
He can talk! Reminds me of a guy you met
Oh, no, go ahead.
in the other world who played guitar, was in a band, and helped prove he didn't destroy all the decorations for a big dance, so you can still rep your princess to the big dance, and then ask you to dance at that dance? Right?
How did you know that?
Just a hunch.
Just a hunch. No.
That Pinkie sense.
What that is literally she's communicating with all the other Pinkie Pies in existence, and they're telling her all this information because at the same time, that little whatever it is that floats in the cosmos, eldritch abomination that is a pink pony, is able to see into all the different universes and all of the possible timelines at the same time to figure out which one she's in. That's why she seems absolutely crazy. And that's also why Pinkie Sense exists. Clip 2.
Twitch.
Pinkie Pie, what in the wide world of Equestria are you up to?
Oh, it's my tail. It's a twitching. And you know what that means?
Actually, Pinkie, I haven't the slightest idea.
The twitching means my Pinkie Sense is telling me that stuff's gonna start falling. You two better duck for cover.
Oh, Pinkie, it's not gonna rain. Why, there's barely even a cloud in the sky.
Okay. So, the reason her Pinkie Sense exists is it's telling her which piece of the timeline she's in at the moment, so she can figure out what she needs to do to avoid getting hurt. You will notice that Pinkie Pie is about the only pony who always avoids the absolute destruction of everything else. For some inane reason.
So she's Spider-Man.
Slides.
This dumb thing.
Just Alt-Tab.
I was hitting Alt-Tab. It's being...
Alt-Tab twice. There we go. She isn't psychic. She's just the one. No, I literally mean the one from Highlander. Just the world doesn't explode when she, reaches apex. When all the Pinkies were made at once, there's still only one Pinkie Pie. They're all actively communicating, whether it's in person or without having to be in person. More importantly, this means it didn't matter which one they didn't send back through the mirror pool because they're all the same one.
Oh, clip 3.
Also, I have to point this out. Something's going to happen here, and you should cover little children's eyes because this is just wrong.
Terrifying, The concept of this episode is terrifying when you actually start thinking about it.
I studied this episode for 4 hours. That is straight up murder.
And if they got it wrong, that is something out of Lovecraft.
I don't care how. That is either straight out of Lovecraft or you just straight up murdered a pony.
Hello?
And she could do that to any pony.
Back to the slides. Twilight is a serial killer.
She just has
Is it really serial killer murder if you're killing the same pony over and over?
Yeah.
So, Pinkie Pie can alter her own physics. It's not that she's really altering her own physics, I believe. It is because since she is within, the ability to tap into the multiverse theory idea, is that she's simply tapping into physics that are alternate to ours and bringing them here. Literally tearing the fabric of reality. You eldritch abomination. Clip 4.
Hello? Yeah, and that's why I went, I just don't
Tell me she's not.
The darkness and the shadows, they would always
Gravity! Where is gravity? Gravity! Wait a minute!
Tell a victim scary things to take a hike.
Okay, that I can...
Scary.
What?
Another thing coming, and the very idea of such a thing just makes
She's
you want
in a tree that doesn't actually have a mouth.
Gamma is the best place for me. Oh,
Applejack was just
apple-tastic!
So apparently she has this ability to tap into a place where gravity's reversed and there's no gravity.
And Pinkie Pie loves us to have fun! You know, Pinkie Pie, you're not as annoying as I thought. You want to hang out? That'd be
Gravity! How? She stopped in air and then kept going.
a simple nod will do.
Mm-hmm.
On you.
And I got my eye on you.
She's the only one that does that.
Come on in and make yourself at home.
Okay. What?
Pinkie Pie.
I know of no horse that can run backwards as fast as it goes forwards. I am convinced there's 2 Pinkies here.
Pinkie?
There's 10. She's not playing all the instruments by herself. She has help from 10 other Pinkie
Get
Pies.
your fill of cupcakes, so sweet and tasty cupcakes. Don't be too hasty cupcakes.
Two on the screen! Physics! Physics! She can't. She cannot physically fit in that bowl. That bowl is too small to physically fit a pony. She
Question it.
Spike has a crush on Mary.
That is a Pinkie Pie from another universe.
Wow.
Flat out.
You've got to care.
Hey!
And she's talking to us. She just traded places with another Pinkie Pie to beat Rainbow Dash. Back to the slides. So, she can translocate anywhere. We see multiple times. There are 2 Pinkie Pies on the screen at the same time. I don't even have to like transpose them to figure it out. There are literally 2 there at the same time. She can play 10 instruments at once, 3 of which require you to blow into them. That doesn't work unless there's more than one of you or you have a mouth bigger than a great white shark.
I think she might.
Oftentimes,
taking one bite. So.
oftentimes she bounces faster and further than the initial force implies, or just stops in mid-air like she can fly. She flies more often than Fluttershy does.
She has used a tail to fly.
And here's the one thing that I've noticed, and I'm using this clip because it's funny, but there's actually about 5 times where Discord tries to do something to Pinkie Pie, and she literally just undoes it. Clip 6.
No clip.
What about clip 5? Oh, clip 5 and 6. Go.
Clip 5.
Yep. Start here with cheese sandwich.
The party cannon. When you hear the party cannon song,
But she can compromise, turn this one on for size. Nothing quite a cheer like the ringing in your ear of the cheese of green cannonball surprise.
Dally, 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 you got us a... Have a wonderful, special, fantastic day.
Okay.
Hi, Discord. Want some cake?
Wait!
A list of all the flavors we
She
have.
literally just goes, oh, that's normal.
Incredibly, unbelievably delicious.
Actually, Pinkie Pie, who are you taking?
Discord is physically creeped out by her.
Oh, you know what?
She is the only one that makes him uncomfortable.
The cakes.
All of them? He wants all.
And now she's talking to us and affecting the camera.
If I decide to go
What, cameraman?
are you bringing any pony?
Oh, of course! I was gonna ask my mom because she's, my mom. But it turned out she didn't want to go. So I started asking around and around and around. I couldn't think of any pony, and I was about to just go by myself. And then I realized, of course!
I am 100% convinced she noticed the periscope and just didn't say anything.
You know what? Cancel my order.
You want none of the cakes now?
Okay, pause this. Go back to the slides. Okay, so we have this idea that basically Discord's magic is like, no. Discord makes her mouth go away and she goes, woof, and you're like, wait a minute, what? Next slide. She can outrun Rainbow Dash without passing through the space in between. Clip 7. So Rainbow Dash has gotten away. Everything's fine. Wait a minute! And now, I am perfectly convinced she just transposed places with 2 Pinkie Pies to get here. Once again, there is no way in the laws of physics you should be allowed to beat her there.
What did you do? Well,
She's going to admit she tears the fabric of reality.
It tasted like snozberries. I want your wife to
I know.
suddenly able to see the fabric of time and space. Which, by the way, also tastes like snozberries. Pinkie Pie helped. And it
Okay, pause.
Oh, I love that.
So she literally just admitted, I can tear the fabric of time, space, and reality and just, go have fun with it. What? That's okay?
Really?
Dang it,
Just
stop.
highlighted.
She goes upstairs. There are several scenes where there's two Pinkie Pies on screen at once, clearly, because you can still see the one in the background. She goes off that way and comes back on screen this way, or this way, or this way, or out of an object in the screen that you're like, didn't you just go, off in the distance? She talks to us. She literally comes up to the audience and acknowledges that we exist actively. Twilight goes, Pinkie Pie, who are you talking to? This is in an episode. Twilight, Pinkie Pie, who are you talking to? The audience. Wait.
She can't even tell dirty jokes from our world.
You're right.
It tastes like snozberries.
She also says she has all these balls stashed everywhere. So a tree knob about this big around pulls out a basketball. Wait. So she's not just, she can alter the physics by bringing physics from other realities that apply, or basically saying, well, if I was standing on the opposite side of the Earth right now, I would be having gravity go that way instead of that way. So I'm going to be standing on the opposite side of the Earth even though I'm still standing right here.
She has hammer space, so she's a magical girl.
Next slide.
She's stuck in Manhattan.
And now we get into this. She can just break into our world. Click 9. How's
Yes! We're going viral! Wait, whoa!
Hasbro said this was okay.
You see those things too?
usually they're kind of annoying, but
Say no more, tiny big horse. On the count of 3, say what your favorite food is. 1, 2, 3, start! The hex, a cherry chonga.
only the most delicious, most awesome thing you've ever tasted. Yeah.
Where did she get that thing? It covers the entire face.
Best friends?
Wanna have some fun?
Oh, mercilessly.
She's literally breaking into our world and going wherever she wants, including into the past. That was my brain after this.
Yeah.
Back to the slides. I honestly don't understand how she can tear the fabric of reality. I'm being honest. But she does all of these things. And even questions in season 7. Hey guys, what do you do when the screen turns to black? Pinkie Pie, what are you talking about? Boom. End of episode. And I'm like, wait. Play back. You actually admitted the screen goes black? How do you realize that happens? Next slide. So, now I'm about to bring all of this together and explain it in kind of a unified theory method. I hope I can actually break Pinkie Pie, but I'm not. Pinkie Pie only appears crazy to us because she's experiencing all of time and space at the same time. She literally can see all of the outcomes and recognize what is going on, regardless of how the chain is going to play out through a series of events. So, that is why she seems to be the one who actually realizes what's going on when the timeline gets changed by Starlight Glimmer, and she's just sitting there like, And she's just, the whole episode, she said she's upset at Twilight, obviously, she's acting that out, but then the rest of the episode, she appears to be, literally looking around questioning what's going on. With a mind like that, she's just processing more than our brains can handle at a rate that even a supercomputer would be embarrassed to admit it can't keep up with. She's not all-powerful. She's not all-knowing. She's just semi-omnipresent. And the reason I say semi-omnipresent is because she can actively choose to not be present. The conclusion is Pinkie Pie here, based on every bit of anecdotal evidence I have, is the only godlike being in My Little Pony. Even Discord has more limits than she does. And that is my theory. That is the only way I can make sense of her. I literally could not include her in the magic panel because, as you guys will notice, this took 30 minutes to explain. She has these capabilities that I was like, what is going on here? What is wrong with Pinkie Pie? So I ended up spending about, I want to say, 33 hours watching every single episode over and over again, going and reading through all the comics. And at this point, those poor comics I printed out are like this high and have more highlighter in them than I care to admit. Bring the slide back up to the last slide. Also, basically, they're unreadable unless you're me because of all the notes and there are extra things in there. But you guys are now allowed to question this and pick at it because I would appreciate it if somebody would, untear my mind from this for a little bit. So as always, here's my YouTube channel. I have cards if you guys need them. Here's my email address. If you don't want to ask your question in public, I perfectly well understand. I will answer it about a day or two after I get home. But now, you guys get to poke holes in my theory.
I'm actually not going to poke a hole in your theory. I'm going to give you a actual concept in physics that gives some credence to your idea.
Oh joy.
In some concepts of quantum mechanics and string theory, there's the idea that things that are of higher dimensions, when they travel through areas of lower dimensions, things in that universe would only be able to see, could only see that object as that lower dimensional shape. So basically, the idea of if you put, if there was a universe on a flat piece of paper, and there were objects that lived on that two-dimensional a sphere passing through it, you'd only see a circle that's changing and warping its size constantly, which would seem impossible to them. But it's perfectly reasonable, they're just seeing it through one dimension lower. So if Pinkie were a higher dimensional being, in our universe she would only appear to be a three-dimensional being, but she would do things that make total sense in her dimension, but are completely strange in ours.
If I assume there's 4 or 5, oh my, wow.
Oh, yeah, so she's young off of.
I was going to go with Cthulhu, but that's my
And what's
personal
really cool
favorite.
is she can act, and those things can actually move through the dimension and completely disappear.
That makes a scary amount of sense right now, and after I've had coffee, I'm probably going to have some realization, and thanks for the free insanity points. Yellow shirt first.
Yeah, I say, I know with the Pinkie sense, that one that's sort of extra dimensional, I'll give you that. But Maud does mention it runs in the family, though.
Maud mentions it runs in the family. I understand that,
Yeah.
but none of them express it at any point.
Well, I guess the thing is, the senses probably take place in different things, or they don't express it like Pinkie does. The one thing I think.
You never see anyone in Pinkie's family ever go to the extreme that Pinkie does.
They never express anything. Gray shirt in the back first.
So, I think one thing that kind of follows along what you were talking about was expressed in the first Equestria Girls movie, where it seemed like the human version of Pinkie Pie and the pony version of Pinkie Pie were almost the same entity explaining the same result.
What's basically happening is since there's only one, but they can exist anywhere at once. She's basically existing everywhere at once, and doesn't have to actually talk to herself unless she wants to. Which is why in the Mirapool episode we see both instances where she either talks and communicates stuff to herself, or somehow one of them knows something happened that the other one never talked about. And you go, wait, that both those things happened. I don't understand. She's actively choosing to communicate with herself in this case because it's fun, not because she needs to. Black shirt first, then gray shirt.
Why would in the mirror episode all of Pinkie's clones do ridiculous things that actually hurt people instead of, what she normally does?
Out of confusion high?
They've never existed in a state where all of these different pieces of herself are all in the same spot. And I'm going to assume that there's the distinct possibility that if you were to get all of the different pieces of Pinkie Pie together, we would end up with a murderation pie instead of a happy-go-lucky Pinkie Pie. And that means that she is more crazy than I am, or she is literally fragmented at herself in order to prevent herself from going murder happy and just destroying everything.
Okay, Pinkamina.
Gray shirt, and then I saw one back there.
Twilight does that fourth wall breaking too.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But she only does it once, and only because Pinkie Pie initiates it.
That's true.
So, Pinkie Pie just let her see the fourth wall for a minute.
Well,
Broke her
the goal was, because Pinkie did have her mouth removed by
Trixie.
Yes.
But she could still breathe.
Yeah.
She could and there's no nose holes in these ponies for some reason, but she could still breathe without a mouth.
She lives off of rocks.
And I must
Gills.
Do you consider the Equestria Girls blooper reel canon?
I'm not 100% on that one. What I consider canon is the stuff that Hasbro basically says, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Because I know in that one, at the very end, Pinkie Pie switches places through the mirror.
In that case, probably.
Wait, what?
Like, they basically, Pinkie Pie walks up to the mirror, another Pinkie Pie walks out, they high five, and then the other Pinkie Pie goes back through.
I could believe that happened.
Why not high five yourself?
Anybody else have a question or a comment or something you want to add?
So I guess the unifying thought is that it's the same Pinkie across all worlds, right?
Yes.
So who are we interviewing after this panel? We have to talk to our own Pinkies, don't we?
I
To
don't
finish
know where
out
our
the
Pinkie
video for
is,
your
and
panel?
I'm not going to find her because I am scared what will happen to my mind afterwards.
I think there's at least 3 at the con.
I like my sanity. So, any other questions? Anything at all? Yes, in the back, and then up here in the front.
Science behind Maud Pie. She has shown in a few episodes to have some of the abilities of Pinkie. If you looked at it, like being as small as she is, throwing that.
The science with Maud Pie is because she is somehow related to Pinkie.
Exactly.
I don't understand how at all, because even when I look at them standing side by side, they unlike other ponies where I can stand them side by side and be like, okay, I can piece this together who your parents are. Pinkie stands with the rest of the pies, and I'm like, I can't. You don't have parentage between any of these people, regardless if you're in Pinkamena form or regular Pinkie form. What is going on?
Yeah, doesn't Pinkie say she's a twin at one?
You were first.
Yeah, I still really totally buy that all of the Pinkie Pies in the Mirror Lake episode are all connected, because there's a lot of like having to teach them names, and then they're still confusing all the names. It's like I don't see any. It doesn't seem like that's something that she's doing on purpose because it's fun. Because it could expose her also.
I don't think she cares if she's exposed, if I'm honest. I really don't.
But if they're all like at least even a little bit connected, why would it be so challenging to line them?
Because to me they're not connected until they've actually like crossed universe to some degree. What that means is we don't see the connection with the Equestria Girls until she actually. It's basically like making contact with a piece of yourself, till she actually penetrates that universe or that dimension or that timeline. She hasn't actually made contact with the self that's there, which makes it where when the mirror universe happens, we see a lot more crazy stuff happen from Pinkie Pie from then on, because she's now in contact with a lot more Pinkie Pies. Also, it means that it doesn't matter, again, which one goes back and which one stays.
I'm talking about the lake episode.
I know you're talking about the lake episode.
Okay.
It didn't matter which one didn't get sent back on the lake episode.
Okay.
Because at that point, they had all managed, because you will see as the lake episode goes on and on, they all start exhibiting the exact same behavior. Verbatim. And you go, wait a minute, they were acting differently a minute ago. They were acting on their own, and now they're moving in unison. Black shirt and then yellow shirt.
Couldn't that be explained by the fact that we don't usually see her in two places at once for an extended period of time? So there might be like a learning curve there, where at first it's kind of hard for her to understand.
It might also be explained by when we see a cutie mark remark, where everyone just believes that they're supposed to have the cutie marks. Perhaps to the different Pinkie Pies, people have different names in different universes because they have different cutie marks, because that's a distinct possibility. I saw yellow shirt first, and then bounce up to here.
Doesn't Pinkie mention she's a twin at one point in the thing? Because you mentioned the family thing, but I think I think it was with Marble or it was mine.
I never heard her say she's a twin. If that happened, then I actually missed it.
I'll find the thing.
I think I know what he's talking about because I think he talks. It's the one she tries to set up a Big Mac, and she said, "She may be my twin, but she's always my little sister to me." She says something along those lines to the one she tries to set up with Big Mac.
That's a little creepy.
This really interestingly lines up with Pinkie's comment at Canterlot Wedding of, "I've seen better."
One thing that I just thought would be fun to add is, it reminds me of Pinkie Pie's cutie mark story, and that's how Equestria was made. Maybe.
You going back first?
Another thing from your episode that might explain actually everything in Pinkie Pie. Could this all be kind of a dream, since she knew what her G1 looked like? Could this all be a dream, possibly, if she knew what the first generation of her looked like?
I'm going to say no. And the reason I'm going to say no is because she knew what the first generation looked like, because because the same Pinkie Pie existed then as exists now.
So could there be have been maybe a mental breakdown at some point in time that caused this shit?
Yes.
From that?
Because when we fragment ourselves in our own minds, i.e. we have problems keeping up with our thought patterns, we actually have mental shifts that change us significantly, particularly when we experience traumatic events. So obviously, to me, something beyond traumatic has happened to Pinkie Pie, or has happened that she has witnessed. And for a dimensional being beyond our grasp to have witnessed something that actually traumatized them, that would probably break us in a heartbeat. I think you're the only one.
I was thinking about some of the things they were talking about when they were mentioning the other members of the Pie family, and I noticed something weird about that is they might have those qualities not because they're necessarily shared with Pinkie Pie, but because of their parentage, because Igneous Rock and Cloudy Quartz didn't meet naturally. They were chosen by the pairing stone to be partners. So it seems like there's some aspect of nature, tree of harmony, that determined that there would be a good outcome to the universe if these two individuals got together.
So these two need to get together so we can rip a hole in the fabric of reality and give birth to a being from another dimension. Got it.
That's gotta be one bad birth.
So, I was just thinking that, with Pinkie Pie's magic being godlike, if you think about it, it might be possible for Pinkie to actually just be an extension of the universe's magic in and of itself. Like, it is Equestria.
That is a theory that I didn't even think about. Pinkie, so what you're saying is the various bits and fragments of Pinkie Pie are the actual physical moving conscious entities that I theorized is the magical entity that is at the heart of Equestria. So what you're saying is Pinkie Pie's powers originate from the fact that Equestria decided, I need an avatar. You.
Yes.
That makes an even scarier amount of sense.
It also works with the pairing stone because...
It works with the pairing stone because the pairing stone is attached to the Tree of Harmony, and the Tree of Harmony is a direct route to the core of the magic of Equestria. Holy crap. That
Equestria is a gigantic computer simulation.
that is
about the tree of
horrifying.
I can't
Yes.
What if Pinkie Pie just has childhood onset schizophrenia? And the whole show is just hallucinations, or a combination of reality and hallucinations? Because she was normal for a while, and then suddenly she saw a vision.
I thought about her having a mental breakdown problem, but there are times where that would mean that she actually exists in our world first, and that this is her hallucination after the break. Which means that there has to be a physical person here who's imagining this hallucination.
Or she's in Equestria and just what we're seeing is mainly hallucinations or combination of.
So Equestria is actually still the blasted land hellscape that is from G1. And Pinkie Pie is just now imagining that it's actually this nice happy place that she can be.
It's possible.
Which means all of the other ponies that we see and interact and she interacts with are purely hallucinations.
Well, I mean,
Or
sometimes.
the G1 counter.
Well, then they can be those
Sometimes
or combined versions of G1s made into G4 are that.
You're saying?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. That is another theory that makes way too much sense. And I'll have to explore it. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Going back to the earlier mention of Pinkie mentioning being a twin, meaning she was born alongside somebody else, I'm thinking maybe it is that she wasn't necessarily born of her parents, but rather born alongside another pony to be in a host as to come into the world, as brought about by the pairing stone.
Great, now I have to change this panel. Anyone else? Any questions at all? Any comments?
What do you think Pinkie's goal is now? What's she trying to do?
Fun.
Two things. She's trying to have fun, and she's trying to reconnect with all of the fragments of herself. And what happens when she finally reconnects with all of the fragments of herself, I don't know. But it's probably not going to be good for anyone.
It's really not going to be fun.
It'll be fun for Pinkie Pie. It won't be fun for the rest of us. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you have additional questions, I will gladly sit around and take them. I have another panel. Wow, this one actually didn't run as long as I thought it would. I have another panel at 11 with the conventions because I got invited to that one last night. And I apologize if I talked a little fast or seemed a little low energy, but I don't function before noon. If you missed the panel, you can catch it at my YouTube channel, and I also have cards if you guys would like those, if you would like to stay in contact with me. Fair warning about my YouTube channel, by the way. I play a lot of video games and a lot of other shenaniganry, and I do a science video once a week. I am not PG on anything but the science video. So if you are a parent who is concerned, I perfectly well understand. Do not expose your kids to me unless you understand the risk that you are basically exposing them to Deadpool. So I'm glad to be here, and I hope you all had fun. See you guys.
Thank you guys for watching. Please do hit the like button. Leave a comment. Come on. I want to hear them. Like, come on, please. Please talk to me. I think Pinkie Pie might have broken the video. I didn't do it. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go rest up. I'm still sick. I'll see you guys on live stream this afternoon for Rainbow Six, and I'll see you later tonight for writing. Mostly better now, though. Not coughing and hacking nearly as much. And I sound mostly normal. So I will see you guys later. Remember, so you can support the channel on Patreon, by the way. Patreon is how I pay some of my bills. Please, guys, if you can, drop $1. In the meantime, I'll see you guys later today.